back. Welcome to Realcomm Live. With me is Donnie Law with Remlogix. Hi, Donnie.
Yeah, good morning.
Donnie is the CEO, and we have been working with Remlogix, and you've been a part of the community now for a while.
Yeah.
So I think folks that are regulars that attend the conference and tune into our webinars and what have you are probably pretty familiar with Remlogix. But for those that are new, that maybe this is their maybe only first or second time and not totally familiar with what you guys do, can you just give me an overview? Who is Remlogix and what are you guys all about?
Yeah, so Remlogix, we're a software development company for the real estate industry. We develop that property management software that you need as your core, your ERP, your back end.
Right.
And we do that for commercial, residential, multifamily, retail, industrial. So we kind of hit all those spaces.
Okay. Well, the software that you have built, you've pretty much built it from the ground up, right?
That's
So
correct.
how did that come about? What is that like, kind of taking the pieces and putting them together and just building it from scratch?
Well, to me, it was kind of like one of those dream comes true, because really you always look back on things you would do different. And over the years, we've worked through all the software, all the technology, and it's like, man, if I could ever do it again, I would do it this way or that way. So this was our chance really to look at it, not only from our experience, but also talking to past customers and industry experts, say, if you could start over, what would you do? And so that's where we started from. So we took all of our experiences, put it together, and one of our biggest challenges was, how are we going to build it? What platform, technology? And that was exciting too, because there were so many new things in the market right now, is you could go many different directions. So we settled on our platform, our no-code platform, and we started building out. So it's been a great experience. It's kind of those things, like I said, that you always wanted to be able to do, that if you had time, you go back and do it. So that's what we've done.
Well, what has been the biggest difference? Obviously, the last several years have been very different for a lot of us with the conference. We feel like we're getting back. We're not back 100% yet,
Right.
but we feel like that people are coming back. They're happy to be here. The in-person events are really kicking into high gear, I think. With regard to your clients and talking with them, what have you learned through COVID? What are your clients saying, and what kinds of adjustments did you make to your strategy coming out of the last couple of years?
Ours through COVID, actually, it's helped us kind of speed up our development cycle of our software. Working with customers, things were kind of strung out a little bit there. Nobody's in the office. So two things we had to kind of pivot. One of those was being able to have software developed quicker, so they could actually have it for their employees, outside the office. So we had to kind of pivot the software that way, and really come about of building those pieces out. And then it also helped us to focus on the development cycle as well. So what they needed, we were bringing those to the forefront, and then we never slowed down through the pandemic. With our crew, it's always been remote offices, as a lot of development is done. And so we continued to move that process, and while customers weren't in the office, we were able just to focus on product. So that's how we adjusted and kind of made it through.
Right. Now, your client base is office. You do what other asset groups do you cover?
It's office, commercial, industrial, and then we just have our first release out of our residential multifamily.
Okay.
So we kind of covered it all. We're looking at it again. It's one of those that if we could do it different, we did many years on the Oracle, J.D. Edwards side of things, which was great. But we always just had that commercial side of things. And so when we were looking to build ours, we wanted to go all in. If we're going to do it and build it from scratch, just build everything.
Right. Are you seeing an uptick across a particular asset class now versus, say, 3, 4, 5 years ago?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of change on the residential multifamily side, a lot on the software side. They're looking for the new technology, and they're looking to implement that. As coming out of COVID, you got this competitive market with all your tenants, and you see that also in the other spaces as well. But they're adjusting in many other ways. Office space, retail, everybody's adjusting. So they're you kind of see that across all of them, but they're trying to embrace that technology to give them the advantage.
Well, what do you think? There are a lot of companies that have ERP platforms and solutions. What is it that you think sets Remlogix apart from some of those other companies that folks might see in the market?
I think there's really, three things for us, and that's our platform, our product, and our culture, for us. We just kind of see that pillar there. And so based on our platform is different than anybody else that has in our industry right now. It's a no-code platform. When we started building this out, they were pretty new. They were pretty fresh. People were like, is it really something to look at? Is it really true? Is it really no code? And one of the comments I would always hear is, there's no such thing as no code, which is true. There's always code. But it's whether I have to write the code or if the system is writing the code for me. So with our platform, we decided to build on that no code, and that allowed us to speed up our development cycle. We were actually able to develop a commercial package in 9 months, where it took other companies, years to develop that. We knew what we wanted to build. We had the experience. In 9 months, we had our first release out. And then we get into our product side of things. Is we took all those things we wanted to build, added those into the product, automation. Things like where you go on leases and you do abstracts on the back side of things. We're like, we gather that data on the front end in our CRM. Let's have our CRM flow into and automate that process where it creates leasing documents, can route the documents to the tenants for signature, and then bring that back into the system and automatically set up all of the recurring billing and recoveries, things like that, to automate those processes. And then the last thing was our culture. Is we went in this as kind of this family culture. It's for our employees and also for our customers. We're all in this together. We're trying to better, help them better their industry. We want to do what's best for them, for our customers, what's best for our employees, and we kind of work together to be able to make that a good working environment. And I tell the customers this all the time, that I take everything seriously. I mean, it does keep me up at night. If I have a customer that's upset, it does keep me up, because we care about how they look at our system. Are they getting their best value of what they're paying for? And they look for us as a trusted advisor.
Right. That makes all the difference in the world. And I think culture is becoming more and more a critical component in the relationship between the clients and and their partners.
Yeah,
and it really is becoming more and more of a partnership, as opposed to instead of a vendor or a solution provider. It really is more of a partner, a client partner.
Yeah, because we see it as the customers are actually, we set up every customer gets like a seat at the table. So when we look at our roadmap and enhancements, they got a seat at the table. They're telling us, this is what I need for my particular business. This is what I want to be able to do. And we give them that opportunity to do that and speak into where the software is going.
Right, right. Well, talk to me about the modern cloud native platform.
Yeah.
What is that, and explain what that is and how it's different from a normal platform.
Yeah. So I got an analogy I'll use, and I used in another session, but it's my NASCAR analogy.
Okay.
To break it down. So if you think about a car, I could take my Jeep Wrangler and I can put Kyle Busch in my car, and I can put him on the racetrack. It goes around the track. Is it going to hit top speeds? No. Is he going to be able to take the corners like he does in his car? No. Really break it down simple. And that's what you see in kind of our technology now, where we've come from, is I'm taking something old, I'm trying to adapt it to something that really wasn't built for.
Okay.
So if you continue that NASCAR analogy and you go in now, you put Kyle Busch in his race car and you put him on that track, he's doing everything he's supposed to do. That car is built for that track. It's going to take the corners the way it needs to take those corners. If he has to go into the pit crew, they're there. They can make changes to it and put him right back on the road. And that's how I break down that modern technology. So we built ours. Take advantage of all the cloud, that can take advantage of stateless architecture, which means you could go down right now and the system will continue to function. It saves where you're at. And you have load balancing, and you all spin up of servers. I get excited talking about that because it is something new. It's different that we've not really had, in our industry. Right. Now that's available, we've been able to pull that in to our product.
Oh, that's a great analogy. I mean, I'm not a huge NASCAR fan, but that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it's like
the
right vehicle for the right job.
That is a great way to explain it. Well, we're almost out of time. We've got about a minute left, and so I guess my last question to you would be, what do you see coming down the road in 12 to 18 months? What do you think is going to be new or really top of mind for the real estate community in the next year?
I think we're seeing that shift. Everybody's looking at data because, again, with what's happened the last 2 years, you need your data to make decisions off of. So you're looking at that. So having access to their data is key. So that's where we're seen a lot of push is I want access to my data, be able to do my analytics on it so I can make decisions. So if I've got buildings that's not profitable, that they are profitable, what's working, what's not. So the more access to the data they have, the better. And so what we've done with ours to help with that is kind of unique. Every table in our system, every time it's created in the platform, it automatically creates an API connection to that table. So the customer can have access to any of their data, anytime, any way they want it in the system. So that's where we really feel as where people are going, is that it's my data, I want access to it now, I want my data now, and that's what they're looking for. So we're continuing to build that out and make it open so they can get to anything they want to, and then being able to report on that. So we're adding a lot more KPI indicators with that. We have integrations into some other third-party tools to be able to do analytics off of it as well. So really give them those tools to analyze how their business is doing and be able to make those decisions.
Well, that sounds great, because data doesn't really do very much if you can't get to it, and
That's
you
great.
can't manage it, and you can't interpret it, and
Right.
and you know, it's dumb data.
Yeah, can't do anything, and if it
That's
takes
right.
you weeks to get it,
That's right. It's pretty
sometimes you're-
useless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we are out of time, but it has been a pleasure talking to you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for being here, and we look forward to seeing what Rimlogics has in store for the future.
All right.
So
Thank you very
thank you.
much. Thanks.
And we'll be right back.